Everybody, Z with ZandGEmporium. Let's smash that like button. Let's smash that subscribe button. We gotta be saying this because views are free right now. I think almost every video that I've put out in the past, month or two has been between 4,000 to 5,000 views. That's pretty insane for basically a dead channel. We're peaking right now. Now, are we peaking? I don't know. This is there's 4 stages, they say, of a business cycle, right? There's expansion, peak, contraction, trough. It's kind of like, a wave pattern. And, if you're, if the cycle of the business continues growing, it waves, but it waves upward, right? The line, if you look at the average, goes up and to the right. Well, we're certainly not in a contraction, certainly not in the trough. So we're either at the peak or we're the expansion phase. And I don't really know what to make of it. Get these questions all the time from people that, even know TCGs, right? Even know the market, and they're like, why is it going up? And if anybody tells you exactly what it is, I mean, they don't know. Nobody knows. It could be 1,000 factors all put into one. I mean, I remember not too long ago, right? It was like everything was digital. Digital video games, you're doing Pokemon Go on your phone, everything's digital. It's like physical stuff is gone. We're going the age of everything's digital now. So this is a rather new phenomenon, just to have like physical things be, in demand. So what's really crazy is you talk about peak and expansion and whatnot before the, some kind of contraction happens, and it has to happen sometime. Even if something like an asset of the stock market, which considering it's where a lot of people put their money just to hedge against inflation, just that alone makes it increase over time. This stuff, it's crazy. We're passing the generational test, right? I mean, for at least Pokemon, other TCGs still, out for debate. But the Pokemon market definitely is passing the generational test, is where, these millennials growing up are having kids and their kids still enjoy it. So it's moving past a generation. It's passing that. Whereas like, if you're a parent and you're like a big Yu-Gi-Oh guy, are your kids into Yu-Gi-Oh? Probably not. Sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh people. I know there's a Yu-Gi-Oh pump going on right now. I'm seeing all over Instagram. Yu-Gi-Oh pump happening. Your parents are in Dragon Ball. Your kids in Dragon Ball. Your kids trading Dragon Ball cards in school. Are they talking about Dragon Ball? Probably not. Okay, sorry about all the DBZ fans. I know there's a DBZ pump. Everything's pumping. And Pokemon's pumping as well. We saw, the golden auctions and everything. We're seeing, crazy prices across the board, on eBay. But, it's, at least with the Pokemon pump, there is a generational passing. The kids like it. The kids are talking about it. The kids like collecting it. The kids like opening stuff and, whatever, and new generation, new things. And they, they have, collaboration with Lego and a ton of other stuff, that cross, I was gonna say cross contaminates. That's absolutely not the word I'm looking for. Whatever that marketing term is, where you cross into different, genres of people, or people, different, wealth, different, gaps of wealth about people who like to spend, will hit into their different, markets. But here's the thing. 2 things. One, a lot of this money, a lot of this traditional assets, a lot of this, I've talked about it before in a video, a lot of this money in like real estate and stocks and silver and gold and, all this kind of old money stuff, right? There's a lot of wealth in that. There's a lot of wealth in like the boomer generation, the generation that's, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. There's a lot of wealth there. And they don't care about, maybe like old-timey baseball cards, maybe, but like this TCG stuff, I know I'm gonna say everybody. This is generalization, of course. There are old people who like this stuff as well. I'm pretty old comparatively to a lot of the buyers and sellers that are in the TCG market, but a lot of the older generation couldn't care less about this, thinks it's pretty dumb, thinks pretty stupid, and just going to put their money in, Vanguard fund and, all that, traditional stuff, which is fine. The crazy thing about this, expansion period, if we are in expansion, we might be in peak, and this might be, this video that I'm putting out right now might be the absolute peak, and we never see this again. But if we are in the expansion part of the market cycle, what's crazy is that it's not only passing a generational test, but, these people that are like my age in their 30s, even early 40s, even, late 20s, who are going to become wealthier and wealthier and have that wealth either transfer them, passed down from, that other generation, or just like building up wealth and businesses and, however wealth is created, in the world. They're going to think of this, a lot of them are going to think of this as that, like, this is where you can put money, and there's going to be a lot of, you always hear those people say institutional investors, right? And it's like, oh, this institutional money's coming here. And while that may be the case, I think there's a bullish, outlook to where those, institutional investors are people our age, which really, can become that huge, pools of wealth that'll be buying into this. Now, there's a lot to be said about, there has to be a lot of stuff that changes if you're going to be like actually like compete with something like that, right? I mean, like, liquidity is instant for, let's say you have Amazon stock, you have, I don't know, $10,000 of Amazon stock, and it's like, if you want it today, you sell it today at that exact price, and you have it, and there's no movement in price. And if it's, I don't even know what, I haven't followed stocks for a while, but let's say it's $200 a share, I have no clue what it is. You're going to get it for $199.99 a share, right? I mean, it's just like basically, you're just, the biggest thing you have to pay on it is taxes, right? At the end of the year. But, so like the liquidity and the ability to sell quickly and get your money instantly and go between, you talk about like day traders, right? People who are like buying and selling dozens, hundreds of times a day, just like buying, selling, buying, selling. That's just not, it's just not even, and I don't even know if that's even possible. Yeah, I'm sure, with technology and AI and whatever, and it may be possible down the road, but right now it's not even close to that. But, if you can't get to that level, there's real, actually, bullish cases to where, I know I'm facetious here and sarcastic a lot of times about, the bull run and, putting the sunglasses on, the seatbelt, and it is, because these prices are really crazy. But, I try to sometimes think about what's the absolute, these people who are like, this will never go down. I'm trying to like give the benefit of the doubt. It's like, let's look at like that actual bull case scenario. And we might be in this expansion part for a long time, because not only is that money going down, it's past the generation test. There's a lot of bullish indicators. And I just want to put out is that, a lot of people that were into this nerdy stuff, like video games and trading cards and all this stuff, in the 90s, and have grown up and now and they're in their, they're in their 20s and the 30s and even early 40s and getting into their careers. A lot of those nerds, let's be serious, are, probably make on average higher than the average person, right? I mean, those nerds are in tech. Those nerds are like in AI. Those nerds are in crypto. Like it's, I don't want to say, because there are a lot of dumb nerds. There are a lot of idiots. There are a lot of idiots in this industry. Let's be real. But, there are a lot of smart people who are making a lot of money and a lot of moves. And, you got to also factor that into, not only an industry that is still, comparatively capital compared to other, more traditional assets. It's still a very, very small, like, market cap comparatively. There are a lot of people with a lot of earning potential in this industry compared to probably like a lot of other places, because, those nerds are usually smart and usually have good jobs and will have good careers and make a lot of money and make businesses and make, what I mean? Does that make sense? So there's also that positive. But yeah, put on the sunglasses, smash the like button, smash subscribe. I'm not sure what's outside the solar system, but I guess we'll see, because this is where this ride is going. Or this is the absolute peak of the cycle, and we're going into contraction and a trough, and this is all going to die and go to zero. And I guess that's it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll still be here. Subscribe, like, anything. Anyway, bye.